All right, everybody, this is my mom, Nancy. So we've invited you into my mom's home and we're gonna do a special Mother's Day brunch. People think that it's hard to make, but it's actually really easy. So we're gonna make it with my mom. And you know, what better way to start off Mother's Day brunch than with some bubbles, right, Mom?
Of course.
All right, so Mom, what are you gonna be making for this part of the brunch?
So instead of using English muffins, we're gonna do homemade biscuits.
Nice.
And put a little bit of Parmesan cheese in them to give them some extra flavor. A quick and easy biscuit that can go with just about anything, savory or sweet.
Look at that, she's a natural. All right, Mom, you get started on the biscuits and just tell Dylan what you're doing.
Okay. 1 3/4 cups of just regular white flour. It rises better, but it doesn't really work with whole wheat flour.
Okay.
And that'll make you a good batch. Will feed probably 6 people.
Great. I'm gonna just chop the potatoes for the Hashbrowns while you're on that, okay?
Okay. 1/2 teaspoon of just regular table salt. A tablespoon of baking powder. Just mix your dry ingredients together. And then we're gonna put in 6 tablespoons, doesn't have to be exact, can be rough, of butter. Cold butter from the fridge. The butter's warm, the dough will go too soft and it won't turn out flaky.
Exactly. And we're just gonna cut it into it. We're gonna cut it into it, right?
Yep.
I know you're not the only one. You taught me most of the everything. Thanks, Dad.
You can use a pastry knife if you've got one, or you can just use your fingers and break it all up. And you wanna just break it up, the butter in the flour, until it's pea size. You wanna leave a little bit of chunks of butter.
Can I do anything to help, Mom? Can I grate some Parmesan for you?
You could grate some Parmesan, that would be fantastic. Put in the Parmesan cheese or any other savory ingredient that you like. Chives is good, basil's good.
The garlic? Dad wants garlic in it. 3/4 cup of milk, you said?
Yeah, but it's better to put in the lemon juice or the vinegar first.
Okay.
This is gonna turn regular milk to buttermilk and make it a lot more flavorful.
Does it have anything to do, like, does the acid help with the butter, the activation of the baking soda too, or baking powder?
I don't know, does it?
I think so.
Did you learn that at school?
Yes.
Did I pay for you to learn that?
So essentially you taught it to me. There you go. How much am I putting in here?
We want 3/4.
Total of 3/4 cup?
Total of 3/4 cup. So you just mix in your milk. If it's too dry and doesn't stick, you can add a tablespoon of cold water. You just want to gather up all the dough out of your bowl. Gently knead it, not kneading it like you were kneading white bread, yeast bread. That takes a lot more. This you still want to stay flaky.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you over knead a dough like this, a biscuit dough or a scone dough, you're gonna develop the gluten in it too much, and you'll get essentially like a bread dough. It'll be really similar to like a bun instead of a flaky scone or a biscuit. Exactly.
So that's about it. It was about what, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, just to bring it all together.
Perfect.
And we're just gonna let that rest for a second.
I just diced the potatoes up. Not too big, not too small. I'm just gonna put a bit of salt and pepper, some fresh rosemary, and some smoked paprika in there. You can do whatever you want. We're gonna roast them in the oven at 350. Just a little setup here. We're gonna start making the Hollandaise sauce and getting our eggs poached. So we have butter melting in the back. So for Hollandaise sauce, you need to use clarified butter. All the milk solids will settle to the bottom of the butter. Then we'll have the clarified butter at the top. I have a pot of water right here that I'm just gonna turn on. This is an important thing because what you wanna do with your Hollandaise sauce is you wanna get a pot of water and then you want a bowl that can fit on top. So we're creating a double boiler, okay? So this is how we're gonna cook the Hollandaise sauce. Then lastly, we have a larger pot of water over here, and I'm gonna add some white vinegar to it. This is about, I'd say maybe 1.5 liters of water, 2 liters of water. We'll add a good 1/4 cup of vinegar in there, and that's gonna help the eggs set. So I don't know if you've ever tried to do poached eggs at home, and they just kind of run all over the place. It's because you haven't added vinegar to the water, or you haven't added enough vinegar to the water. Okay, we're gonna start the Hollandaise sauce. Can you separate 2 eggs? So we just need the yolks, if you can put the yolks in this bowl for me.
Yeah.
And then,
What do you want to do with the whites?
you can just, we're gonna get rid of them for this one. So.
Okay.
I'm just gonna add a touch of vinegar. Probably for 2 egg yolks, I'd say, let's go 1 teaspoon. Now we're gonna just take this over to the double boiler. We're just trying to cook the egg yolks till they get to a velvety texture, kind of in what you say in culinary terms is you get to like a ribbon. So when you kind of whisk the yolks, they start to get a little bit more texture, a little bit thicker. I don't know if you can get in here, Dylan, and see what I was talking about, like that ribbon where it's like still not cooked, but it's not like scrambled eggs, but it's a little bit thicker, right? So now we're gonna add our butter. So do you want to whisk or do you want me to whisk?
You whisk.
Okay, you want to pour in for me?
Yep.
Okay, so add it in slowly, okay? So this is the part that I was telling you about. This is important. You want to add the butter really slow because we're trying to emulsify the butter into the egg yolks. Once you get a stable emulsion, you'll be able to see it, and then you can add it a little bit faster. All right. If you want to look in here, you can see there's there's a little bit of that kind of milk that's at the bottom. So that's the opposite side of the clarified butter, like the leftover stuff that you don't want. A little bit of lemon juice and some salt. All right, so there we have it. That's basic, easy hollandaise sauce. Mom, do you want to taste and see if it needs anything?
Of course I do. No, it's delicious. It's tangy, it's smooth, it's creamy, it's really good.
Okay, perfect. But just make sure that you want to keep this somewhere that it's not too hot and not too cold. So kind of beside the stove where it's just warm, because you want to prevent it from splitting, okay? So we're just gonna leave this over here, just beside the stove.
Okay, so we've let the dough rest for about 20 minutes. Get an extra little bit of flour on it, mostly so it doesn't stick. We're gonna roll it out to about a ½ an inch thick. Some people use a glass to cut out small round biscuits.
Or
do you want to do squares?
Let's do squares, because then we're gonna cut them in half and then they can sit with the eggs Benny on top, right?
We can make some extra biscuits to eat. There's never leftovers.
Exactly.
I'm using a pizza stone because it holds the heat really well, but you can do it on any cookie sheet. You don't need to grease the pan. There's so much butter in these that they will not stick.
And then there's always Dad's favorite, the last one, right?
The bum.
The bum. Or the heel.
The heel, okay, we'll call it the heel.
Bum.
We've got the oven preheated to 375, probably 12 to 14 minutes. They're gonna double in size in height, and they'll get nice and golden brown on the top. You don't wanna overcook them, or they'll just get dried out.
Ready yet?
Not ready yet.
Oh, I want one.
Okay, so you guys can see biscuits are just starting to rise pretty good here. You can get a little bit of the brown on the corners. So we're gonna go traditional eggs Benny. If you wanted to do tomato Benedicts, if you wanted to do vegetarian ones with mushrooms or with spinach, that could totally be great as well. We're gonna go super classic and use Canadian back bacon. We're gonna do poached eggs. So like I said, there's a little bit of a trick. Instead of cracking them directly into the pot, we're gonna crack them into a vessel before measuring cup. So just crack them in whole and all of them in the same container. So the next trick is you wanna take your slotted spoon, and you're gonna stir the water. You wanna get it moving like that, and then we're gonna just one after the other. Okay. And now we're gonna let the eggs poach for about 3 minutes until the egg white is cooked and the egg yolk is soft. They look lovely. So we're gonna let those cool just a little bit so we can handle them. So our eggs are cooked, and I'm just gonna take them out of the water using a slotted spoon. Take them and put them onto a towel. It's just gonna absorb the extra water. Egg whites just cooked, the egg yolk's still runny. So we're just gonna pop one of these on top of each. All right, everybody, so thank you so much for joining us. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
To my mom as well. And thanks so much for coming into her kitchen. Mom, thanks for letting me cook with you. This was really fun.
I love it.
And let's eat.
Let's eat.